This is just another short video to give a little bit more information about making slides more accessible, especially for students who are blind or have vision impairments. And one of the best ways to do this is with regard to images by including alternative text or alt text or image descriptions. You might see these different ways of labeling these for all images that you're using. And this might include things like diagrams and charts, but also for illustrations or pictures. And PowerPoint at least makes this really easy to do. If I just click on the image and I click Edit Alt Text, it brings up this box, and you can see that I already put some alternative text into this text box here to include this alt text as my image. And this is really for students who are using screen readers. Screen readers will read all of the text, but will skip over any images. So in order to make sure that students who are not able to, see the images themselves, who are using screen readers, in order to make sure that they are able to get the information from that image, we have to include text so that the screen reader will pick it up. And PowerPoint also includes some really helpful information here about how to describe this. And so basically you want to just describe the image as though you're describing it to someone who can't see it, because that's exactly what you're doing. And so you want to say something, in this case, if this is a pot of spaghetti cooking, and that is a description of what's going on in that image. I usually try to give some context for students, depending on what the purpose of the image is. If I'm trying to illustrate a point, I want to try to make that clear. If an image is supposed to be funny, if it's a cartoon versus a photograph, sometimes I'll include that. So if this was something important or something that was relevant for the content specifically, rather than just illustrating a general point or an example, this was maybe a picture of a brain, I might say whether that was a diagram of a brain and point out the points of interest in my description, or whether that's a photograph of a brain, I might include that information that it's a photograph. And so giving some information about whether this is something that is giving content, and then describe what's the main point that students should be getting from this, or what it looks like, versus maybe something that's funny. Sometimes I'll include cartoons or little illustrations to kind of keep students engaged. And so I'll make sure to describe those as well in the text, but mentioning that this is a cartoon, or maybe sometimes even referring to it supposed to be funny or silly or something like that. One other thing that you'll want to do or be aware of is that you can also check, if you go to the review button, there's actually a check accessibility button here. And so if I click this, it can run an accessibility check. So for instance, this picked up that there's duplicate slide titles. It says slides that have the same title. In this case, that's intentional. So I'm going to leave that alone. But this will also pick up and kind of flag your attention if there's a missing image description or something else that can be problematic. Under check accessibility, we also see the reading order pane. This is really important. So I highly recommend, after doing all of your image descriptions, running through the slideshow slide by slide and double checking this reading order. And so particularly you want to make sure that this reading order, this is the order that the screen reader is going to pick up and read these different sections of content. And so we want to make sure that this is going to be read in a logical order. Sometimes depending on which image or which text box is kind of on top or forefront, left, right, sometimes the reading order will get a little bit mixed up from what I would want it to be doing and what's going to make sense to a student. And so I like to go over this as well. And so, for instance, here we see that the title is going to be read first. The text on the side here is going to be read second, then this image, and then this image. And in this case, this is exactly what I want, so I would leave that alone. If for some reason that wasn't what I would want, I can drag and drop this so that we can see I can change picture 2 coming before picture 3, or picture 3 coming before picture 2. And those are 3 and 2 here being just these automatic labels that got assigned based on, I think, when I inserted these images into the slide, and obviously are in the opposite order that I had wanted them. So I can change that here.